Welcome to the Heart of Giving. As you know, the program emphasizes the importance of nonprofits in the city of Long Beach by bringing them to you so that you have a better understanding of the wonderful things they're doing in our city. Today is really a special day. We have the Interval House. The Interval House started a long time ago and has had such an impact. And joining us, Mary Walton, we're glad to have you with us, one of our leading ladies in town, and Sharon Wee, who is the Director of Programs. So I'm going to let them tell you about this amazing program that really started years and years ago with the Williams family. I knew the father and mother, and Carol is still, the daughter Carol is still with you, isn't she?
She was here before the doors first opened, and she's still here as our executive director.
Okay, Mary, you start and tell us, what is Interval House?
Interval House is a program in the community that's provided for the safety of victims of domestic violence, and also in addition to the safety of the victim and his or her children, we also provide education and awareness to the community and to teenagers and youngsters who are dating age. And we just try to get that information out there, as well as all of the aspects of safety, which include housing and health care and legal assistance, all of those kinds of things Interval House is doing, providing shelter first and foremost so that the family is safe, and then all the other things that the family might need.
And I think that we don't know all of the things that you would have to bring to offer to help them. We understand domestic violence, and we understand that they need shelter, but tell me the other things that you provide for them.
Well, beginning with something as simple as a telephone call. We have a 24-hour crisis line, so that if that individual or someone who knows that individual is concerned about the safety of that family, they can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's number one. And then if someone happens to come into our programs either as a resident in our emergency shelter or as a non-resident in our outreach services, they're going to be provided with the best education we have, best information we have to give that family, in addition to the safety, the counseling for the victim and the children who might be involved, legal assistance, because there's so many legal problems that that are attached to this kind of behavior and this kind of situation. Health care, because the family may have neglected their health care, or there may have been injuries. Counseling and mentoring for youth. Child care, education, making sure that their education continues while they are in shelter. All of these kinds of things happen for that family. And then as they move on, we provide a transitional kind of situation. And then from transitional housing or counseling or help, then we move on to permanent housing for that family and reestablishing them in the community. And all the time that we are doing those services, we're being helped not only by our own staff and volunteers, but by other institutions and situations in the community that will support that family in coming back.
Well, I know you offer all kinds of programs, because I was reading the list of the things that you have on your books right now. And so, Sharon, you can tell us about the programs.
Well, you know, I think the hardest thing for a person that's being abused in their very own homes, where they should feel safe, and when that's not the case, so many victims are afraid to ask for help because they're not sure if that may lead to further abuse from the abuser if they're not able to successfully leave, or a lot of victims are not sure how they'll survive without, perhaps they're financially dependent on the abuser, or the abuser hasn't allowed them to finish schooling or ever get a job, and so they're very dependent on this person that's controlling and has power over them in that regard. And so what we really try to do is we look at each family individually, and they come in as a single person or with children, and we try to look at what type of help do they need to be able to be okay on their own after this. And so, as Mary mentioned, we have emergency shelters for families that literally we get referrals from the police departments when they go out to a domestic violence call and they realize that it's not safe for this mom and the children to be in this home, and the abuser may have led the scene and they're looking for the abuser, and so it's really not okay for them to remain in that home. So we have an emergency shelter where they can stay with us, and we work on all these different crisis issues. We also have transitional housing.
I'm
as
sure
Mary
they're frightened.
Absolutely, and to be honest, so many families, they leave in the middle of the night and they can't bring many things with them, so they don't have clothing, and sometimes they don't have even their IDs and documents, you know, that they need for their children, and so many things. So when we are working,
and they would be frightened of the person coming to get them.
Absolutely, and the most dangerous time for a victim is when they leave. And so many victims try to leave on average, 8 times before they can successfully leave an abusive partner. And so it becomes especially important that they're in a safe place and that it's done in a way that protects the victim and children if they're involved, which is so important. And so we, cover the gamut of linking them up with financial resources. If they're low income and not working, how can they be able to, provide for food and basic needs for themselves and the children? Everything from getting protection through the criminal justice system or the family court system with restraining orders, to make sure that even though it's just a piece of paper, it provides some protection in terms of custody and prevents the abuser from perhaps showing up at school or at the place of work, and certainly the home, so that the victim can still be safe. And everything from counseling, mental health services, from health resources, linking up. So many of the victims have physical injuries that they haven't ever been able to treat because their priority has been to take care of the children and or other ways to try to maintain some calmness in the home as much as possible. So their own physical needs have been the last thing that has been important to them. And so a lot of
and another thing that I think would be a strength is that they see others in the same shape.
Absolutely.
That they absolutely are not alone.
Interval House is unique in that over 95% of our advocates are formerly battered women and graduates of Interval House. And we speak over 70 different languages. And as Long Beach is the most diverse city in the nation, something that we're very proud of, and because of the different cultural diversity, when someone walks through our doors and they see somebody that looks like them and speaks the same language, and practices in the same religion and their faith backgrounds, it's an overwhelming sense of just that you're at home and that you're in a place that's welcoming to you, and that's so important also.
And just give me a figure of the current day, like how many people would you be working with at today? Counting the people in shelter, and you don't have to talk to them every day, but I mean that you are really protecting.
Well, our 24-hour crisis hotlines, we answer over 10,000 calls a year. So that gives you an idea of how many people are seeking help. And it's a serious issue, although so many people in the community consider it such a private matter that you would keep within the home or within the family. And we need more and more people to be able to recognize that someone may not be able to ask for help or seek safety outside, to be able to recognize that and to offer assistance or to link them up with support becomes so important.
And I've noticed that a lot of the people that you have, I don't know if they're volunteers or on staff, are women that have gone through this themselves.
Absolutely.
And so they can speak the same language and say, I felt the same way, and this is going to change. And
absolutely. They are the inspiring leaders of Interval House tomorrow, and that's why our program is so successful, and that it's been a part of the philosophy. And when Carol Williams and Bill Williams and Mary, when they started opening the doors of Interval House, it was a very intentional part of how Interval House started to engage formerly battered women, our clients, to become the graduates and to become the leaders of Interval House, because their experiences and their expertise and training really helps.
Absolutely. Mary, how long have you been involved with Interval House?
Since day one.
Is that right?
Since day one. I was the original executive director for the first 10 years.
Is that right?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. And then I moved away and did some other things, but came back about 10, 12 years ago, came back again. And
couldn't stay away because you
couldn't
know that-
stay
yeah,
away,
yeah.
couldn't stay away, and it's just been great to see the growth over the years and the development
Oh,
of
yes.
this project.
Well, just looking at the things that and I was reading about the number of programs that you have and the outreach that you have, and the number of years that has had thousands of women involved with this, and probably some men too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's just been a strength in our community. I know that, and as I say, you know, it was a family-run affair at the beginning, but now it has branched out to be universal.
Many families.
Yeah,
Many
is that right?
families, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. Well, I thank you so much for being with me. It's just a blessing to hear the things that
Thank
are
you.
happening in our community and the things you're making happen that affect so many of the people that have such needs that I think a lot of people don't pay any attention to, but they should know about it. Well, I thank you so much for being here. This has been such an eye-opener, and for so many years. Thank you very much. And be sure and come back, because we have more for you to learn, and for me too.
Hi, I'm Judy Ross. I'm the Executive Director of the Long Beach Nonprofit Partnership. And we are so delighted to be partnering with Beverly O'Neill and PadNet, our new public access television network, with the Heart of Giving. This is an opportunity to really showcase our wonderful nonprofits in our community. The Long Beach Nonprofit Partnership helps nonprofits become strong and sustainable.
Welcome back. And our next segment is going to present a very important person in the city and to talk to you about something that has been part of our city for so many years, done so many wonderful things. I'd like to introduce you to the president of the NAACP in the city of Long Beach, Naomi Ramey. Nice to see you, Naomi.
It's so good to
Thank
see
you.
you.
I should say. And she's been president. She was president when I was still in office, and she's been president since 2000. That means 13 years that she has led this prestigious and very active NAACP in our city. And so, Naomi, I'm so glad you're here. You know, I've been wanting to talk to you about all of this and let the world know how important you are to us.
I am so happy that you invited us. It's an honor to serve Long Beach as a president of one of the oldest social justice civil rights organizations in the nation. As you're aware, our chapter was founded in 1940 by Ernest McBride.
Oh, Ernie
Sr.
McBride, what a wonderful man.
Right. And many people might not know that the NAACP stands for National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. But when we say colored people, there's a misnomer. Colored people refers to people of all colors. We all have colors. It's not limited to African Americans. It's a social justice organization that promotes equality, inclusion, and the elimination of racism or any form of discrimination.
Well, it's changed through the years. It has different goals, I think. Well, no, the goal is the same, but the performance changes through the years. And since you've been president of the group, it seems like there's a great deal of not only togetherness, but of working together for the purpose of the NAACP. And if it's for all colors, which we know that's what it means, do some of the people that of color feel uncomfortable of other color?
Well, there's always been racism or some sort of isms in terms of diversity or lack of inclusion, or it could be by isolation based on neighborhoods, or it could be socioeconomics based on income, or it could be gender. What we at the NAACP Long Beach branch each branch addresses the needs based on research of what is the highest priority for our community. One of the focuses is young people. It's everyone can learn, but we focus on starting with We Tots by doing projects that bring children together of all colors, and then we bring in as advisors and mentors people from all colors, all backgrounds, and all ages. As you remember, Miss Artrilla Scott was one of our strongest advocates that taught to children poetry. Aaron Day, who taught our children about finding their backgrounds. And of course, you were a part of our Leadership Academy, where we brought the children down, and it was so impressive for them to see young girls that they could become the mayor, that a mayor did not have to be a man, that it could be a strong, inclusive woman.
And the projects that you have accomplished in the time since you've been president, talk about that, and also talk about the projects, but also how you achieve your goals. You did this, you said this with the young children, but your outreach into the community seems to have spread so that more people are aware of what you do.
Well, in the past, because we are volunteer-based, all of the services provided by the NAACP, it's provided by volunteers. But what has helped me is my connections, being a former educator, also being a distinguished alumnus from the university. I've reached out to the university and the community college, of which you are president, and we have formed stronger collaborations throughout the community with other agencies, so that I have interns who come in and help us, and we can deliver more than just civil rights investigations, but we have fitness focus camps, we have youth leadership camps, we have Get Aboard the Technology Train, a program that I'm so excited about, where young children of 9th grade through college come in. They teach our senior citizens how to use their telephones, their TVs, operate their cars. I have a new car.
And their computers.
Their computers. And to teach them how to just do a simple email, or not to be frightened about the computer. And another program that I'm really excited about is a new program.
It's all right, keep going.
It's a new program, and it's unity of races and cultures. And it's bringing all of the people together, realizing that we have common core values: education, family, our faith beliefs. And that is just so exciting to bring, because our city is such a diverse city.
Absolutely, we're one of the most diverse in America.
And if we all realize we're citizens, we're human beings, it just makes the world a better place. And that's one of our pilot projects that's going quite well.
That's wonderful. One of the things that I recognize about your program every year is you have one of the biggest banquets of the year in the NAACP annual awards dinner. Talk a little bit about that.
We have been fortunate. We have to raise all the funds to support our organization, to support our programs. So our big gala is a fundraiser where there are different community members or corporations. You've been honored by us. I believe you received one of our lifetime achievements. This year it was Jerry Schubel for his body of work.
At the aquarium.
At the Jerry Schubel of the aquarium. And we do this event to highlight accomplishments, but also to generate the funds necessary to operate the branch.
Absolutely, and that's a good way to do it. And I know that people are always excited about the number of people that are recognized, because they are people that have done outstanding things.
And if someone in the audience hears and knows of a person we also recognize people that are doing things in our community to promote unity, since we are such a diverse, beautiful city.
Naomi, one of the reasons I think that there's been such great outreach with the NAACP, with you as president, is because you are visible in the community. I think you must belong to every organization in town, and that's all right. And you know, as a worthy partner of the organizations. How long have you lived in Long Beach?
I'm so happy. I'm from Mississippi, and my sisters and brothers took integration scholarships. I have an older, wonderful sister. She's now gone on, but she allowed me to come here to live with her to go to college. And I was at Santa Barbara, but it was a cultural shock. And I got to come to California State University, Long Beach, under Dr. Horn.
Go Beach.
That's right, go Beach. And I received my basic education there, then UCI. And about the involvement, I've always been taught and believed, as Dr. Martin Luther King says, we all can be great because we all can serve. So yes, I'm on the Long Beach City College Foundation, St. Mary's Board. I'll be dancing for the stars at Memorial Hospital this year in honor of my son, because this year's theme is heart and vascular diseases. But I I'm retired, and I think the difference is because our organization is volunteer-based, being that I was in I retired 2 years after coming into office. I have more time that can be dedicated, but it wouldn't happen without all the collaborations of wonderful people in our city and the excellent interns that we get from schools and universities.
Well, Naomi, I love having you here because I think that your enthusiasm and your devotion comes from a point of love for our community and for other people. And you've been really generous with your time. And I thank you very much for being here. You're a good role model.
And I thank you for being here and being one of my sheroes.
Oh, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Thank you very much for being with us. I hope you have happy holidays.